welcome back to Knitting 102. Today we are going to be talking about how to make your fabric smaller or decreasing stitches. So we've already talked about how to make your fabric bigger. In fact, I have the same piece of fabric and you can see that it is wider here on the needles than it was when I started. And now we're going to talk about how to make your fabric smaller. Just like with increasing, there are a variety of ways to decrease your stitches. Some of them are decorative, some of them are not. You would use them in different circumstances, whether you're making a lacy shawl or you're making a garment. So what I'm going to do is just show you the two most basic decreases. With these decreases, it's helpful to remember that they lean in different directions. So depending on the direction that your fabric is moving, you may want to use one or the other. When in doubt, you can pretty much always use the first one I'm going to show you. It may skew your fabric a little bit, but it's the most basic decrease. But if you want to make sure that your decreases kind of line up with the direction that your fabric is moving, then you're going to pair these together, these two decrease stitches. All right, so again, let me just come in a little bit from the edge here, and I will show you my first, the first decrease. It's very, very simple. It is called knit two together. It is usually abbreviated k2tog in a pattern. And here's how it works. Instead of inserting your right hand needle into the next stitch, you insert it into the next two stitches. Easy peasy. So instead of here, in the next stitch on your left needle, you insert it into the second and first stitch on your left hand needle and knit them like you would. So you have turned one stitch into two stitches, and as you can perhaps see, this decrease leans to the right. This is a right leaning decrease. That is how we would refer to it. So as I said, this is the most basic decrease, and you can kind of use it by default, but you will notice that it leans a little bit to the right. And in particular, in a garment, you're going to pair your decreases so that the fabric moves neatly and doesn't shift one way or the other. So that is the most basic decrease, the knit two together. I will show you one more time. Again, so simple. You just, instead of inserting your right hand needle into the next stitch on the left needle, you insert it into the next two stitches on the left needle and wrap the yarn and pull through both, just like a regular knit stitch. So that is our right leaning decrease. And now I will move to the left side of the fabric and show you the left leaning decrease. The left leaning decrease is called slip slip knit. It is usually abbreviated SSK. Slip slip knit is a weird way to refer to it because it sounds like you're going to slip two stitches and then knit the next stitch. And that's not what's happening here. So what we're actually going to do, the traditional way this is taught is that you're going to slip two stitches, 1, 2. So you slip from the left needle to the right needle, then put the left needle through both of those stitches you just slipped and knit them together that way. That's how it's usually taught, and you can see it does lean to the left. I like to do it in a way I find is a little bit tidier. Running low on stitches here. And that is that I like to first slip one stitch knitwise. That is to say, I'm going to insert the needle as if I'm going to knit, but I don't. I just slip it from one needle to the next. Then I slip the next stitch purlwise. So I insert the needle as if I'm going to purl it. And then I will insert the left-hand needle into both the front and then knit them together. This is still left leaning. It just looks a little bit tidier. It's not quite as left leaning, I guess, when you look at it. It's not such a jarring tilt to the left. It looks just a little bit neater and mimics the knit two together a little bit more closely. All right, I'm going to work back a little bit. I think I'm going to show you that slip, slip, knit one more time just to make sure that we've got the handle on it. The knit two together is very simple. The slip, slip, knit is not hard, just a few more steps to take care of. Okay, so I worked a couple of rows so we could take a look at our decreases. So over here you can see the knit two togethers. You can see that they pretty obviously tilt toward the right. And over here you can see the slip, slip, knit. And you can see that they both tilt toward the left, but the first one, it's a little less subtle. So the knit two togethers, they're pretty subtle. This is a little more distinct, and then the modified slip, slip, knit that I showed you, definitely you can still see it leaning to the left, but it is not so jarring and obvious. So I'm going to show you that slip, slip, knit one more time to make sure you got a good handle on that. Let me just work in a few stitches. All right. So slip, slip, knit. Slip the first stitch as if you're going to knit it over to the right needle. Slip the second stitch as if you're going to purl it. So when I say as if, I mean you are putting the needle in as if that's what you're going to do. So knitwise, as if you're going to knit this way. Purlwise, as if you're going to purl this way. Then take the left needle and slide it back through both of those stitches that you just slipped. Then go ahead and wrap the yarn around and pull through like you're knitting. And there's your neat and tidy left leaning slip, slip, knit decrease. One more time, a little bit faster. Okay, so slip, slip, knit. All right, so those are two ways of many, many that I'm sure you will go on to master as you learn more about knitting. But those are two ways to decrease stitches. Decrease meaning reduce the number of your stitches, make your fabric smaller. They're the two most basic ways to do it. When in doubt, you can go ahead and knit two together. But for a nice even fabric, you want to pair your knit two together with your slip, slip, knit so that your fabric looks nice and even with your right leaning knit two together decreases on one side and your left leaning slip, slip, knit decreases on the other side.